The movie opens at a company called Kino, a social media platform where we meet women named Margot, a content moderator whose job is to decide which videos can stay online and which must be removed. While reviewing content, she watches a video about historical public executions. In the clip, several mannequins surround a man who is bent over a table, and one of the mannequins appears to use a giant blade and decapitate the man's head. Believing the video is just a fake, Margot approves it for the platform. Later, Margot returns home and meets her roommate Ryan, an artist who loves horror movies. Ryan invites her to a small housewarming party at a friend's place. Margot is reluctant at first and tries to make excuses, but Ryan reminds her that she needs to start getting out and socializing again. Eventually, she agrees to go, making Ryan happy. He then shows her an art piece, a lipstick tube that secretly contains a small blade inside. Margot is surprised by the hidden knife. That night, on their way to the party, Margot and Ryan stop at a store to buy drinks. While there, two girls recognize Margot and ask if she is the same woman from a viral train video. The question clearly upsets her, and Margot immediately leaves the store. Later at home, Margot looks through old photos of her sister and listens to her saved voicemails. Overcome with emotion, she is haunted by painful memories of her sister crying. The next day at work, Margot comes across another disturbing mannequin video featuring the same narrator. In this one, a man is strapped into an electric chair and violently electrocuted until he dies. Unlike before, Margot feels genuinely disturbed and suspects the video might be real. She reports it to her boss, Josh, explaining that she has seen similar videos before and is no longer sure they are fake. However, Josh dismisses her concerns, saying DIY horror content is trending and they need to keep up with demand. With no support, Margot reluctantly approves the video. As she works, traumatic memories of a past train incident overwhelm her, forcing her to leave the desk and break down in tears in the bathroom. In the following scene, we meet a man named Arthur browsing through Kino when he comes across a video posted by a popular influencer. He becomes interested in her and starts watching more of her content. Using access from his job as an internet provider, Arthur searches a database for her personal information and eventually finds her full name and home address. The discovery excites him. The scene then shifts to the same influencer, Samantha, who is filming a dance video with her friend by a swimming pool. Later, she goes to the bathroom to take mirror selfies. While there, she hears her own voice playing nearby and discovers a phone taped to the wall showing one of her videos. Scared, Samantha tries to leave, but she encounters a masked man at the door. He grabs her and injects her with a sedative, causing her to lose consciousness. Meanwhile, at work, Margot takes stimulants to get through the day while reviewing content. She comes across a third video from the same narrator. In it, a man is brutally hammered to death by mannequins. Then, his brains are dug out to feed the mannequins. Deeply shaken by what she sees, she immediately flags the video for review instead of approving it. The next day, Margot is at a company picnic by the beach when she tells Josh she has seen another mannequin video where a man's head is brutally bashed in. Josh immediately shuts her down, saying they are not allowed to discuss work outside the office. He also reminds her not to cause trouble, pointing out that he gave her the job despite her troubled past. Margot becomes frustrated. This leads into a flashback, revealing her past. Margot and her sister were filming a dance video near train tracks when her sister slipped while trying to move away from an approaching train. She fell onto the tracks and was killed in a horrific accident, all of it captured on camera, which later caused Margot to become widely known online for the tragedy. That night, Margot goes on Reddit and posts a link to the disturbing beheading video, asking if it looks real. Several users respond that it appears completely real. She then shares the electrocution video as well, hoping for more answers. One comment stands out. Someone claims the victim looks exactly like filmmaker Justin Pod, who has been missing. This information shocks Margot. The scene cuts to Arthur stalking a man named Neil, a well-known local celebrity and TV anchor. Arthur follows him home and then injures his own hand with a knife before getting out of his car and pretending to be hurt. Seeing this, Neil offers help and brings Arthur inside his house to bandage the wound. They introduce themselves, and while Neil is distracted, Arthur quietly steals his house keys. Later, Neil's son Drew arrives to collect his phone, and Arthur uses the moment to thank Neil for his help and calmly leaves the house. Later that night, Neil is watching his broadcast when the house suddenly loses power. He notices his phone is missing and goes to check the fuse box and finds the switches taped over. As he restores the power, he is suddenly attacked and injected by Arthur, who is revealed to be the masked man. Neil struggles briefly before losing consciousness. Moments later, Drew arrives, alarmed by his father's condition. As he tries to call for help, Arthur injects him as well. In another scene, Margot reads comments on her Reddit post, where someone compares the video to Faces of Death. She searches for it and learns it is a vintage horror film from 1978. only available on home video. Curious, Margot goes through Ryan's movie collection, where she finds a copy and watches it. She is shocked to realize that the execution videos she has been seeing directly replicate scenes from the film. When Ryan returns home, Margot asks him about Faces of Death. He explains it was one of the first viral shock videos before the internet, marketed as real but actually fake, which caused controversy. Margot then shows him the mannequin videos, and while Ryan believes they are likely fake as well, Margot insists someone is copying the film and actually killing people. She says her boss refuses to take it seriously. Determined to find proof, Margot decides to obtain the original video files from Kino's database and analyze the metadata to trace the source. Ryan worries about her, but Margot stays focused and even asks to borrow his razor lipstick. In the next scene, Margot modifies her steel-toed boots by cutting out a hidden compartment to smuggle a hard drive into the office. She then approaches Josh and offers him tickets to his favorite band's concert, even volunteering to handle his workload. Josh, excited, accepts and gives her access to his computer. After he leaves, Margot takes stimulants and begins searching the system for the original videos, downloading the files onto her hard drive. In the next scene, Arthur is in the basement of his house where he has imprisoned Samantha, Neil, and Drew. He removes Neil from his cage and takes him to another room to film another video. Arthur forces Neil to stand in front of a fake doorway surrounded by mannequin police officers holding guns, then gives him a gun with a single bullet and dares him to shoot. As Arthur begins recording, Neil loads the bullet. At that moment, Arthur presses the button and the mannequins fire, killing Neil instantly. Arthur watches with disturbing satisfaction, but notices blood on his shoe covers and becomes irritated. He goes to the bathroom to clean it off. While there, his phone fills with notifications praising the videos, with viewers believing it is all fake. One comment calls it a student film, which enrages Arthur. He responds using a fake account, defending his work and warning the commenter that they could be the next victim. Meanwhile, Margot is at home reviewing the downloaded files when she finally finds the original version of the head-bashing video. She uploads it in Reddit and asks for help tracing its source, which deeply worries Ryan. Arthur soon notices her post and sends her a comment with a trackable link, disguised as an article about Samantha's disappearance. Margot clicks it and discovers that Samantha went missing in Jacksonville, the same city where the electrocuted filmmaker was last seen. At the same time, Arthur begins tracking Margot and quickly uncovers her full name and address. Ryan realizes the situation is escalating and shuts down the laptop to protect her. Elsewhere, Arthur manages to find the infamous train footage involving Margot, confirming he has now identified her and her past. The next day, Margot goes to the police and reports that a psychopath in Jacksonville has been killing people and making videos and posted it in Kino. However, the officer tells her they cannot open an investigation without a confirmed crime scene or bodies, and adds that the case is in another state. She also recognizes Margot from the train incident and dismisses her concerns, implying she may be imagining things. Frustrated, Margot leaves. At work, her keycard no longer works, and Josh comes out of the building with her belongings. He fires her for breaking company policy after finding stimulants in his office. Margot tries to explain the videos and the danger she believes people are in, but Josh refuses to listen. Feeling ignored, Margot walks away in anger. Later at home, Margot watches Arthur's latest video featuring Neil, and it leaves her deeply disturbed. Determined to expose the truth, she begins writing a detailed Reddit post explaining everything she has discovered so far. Before she can finish, Ryan interrupts her and asks if they can talk. Margot opens up about the trauma she has carried since her sister's death. She explains that after the police leaked the train footage online, people turned the tragedy into entertainment, mocking and sharing it without caring that real lives had been destroyed. She says that is why she feels compelled to stop the killer, because if she can save others and expose the truth, then maybe her sister's death will not feel completely meaningless. Touched by her honesty, Ryan tells her to be careful and reminds her that he cares about her. After he leaves, Margot finishes her Reddit post and uploads it. A masked Arthur secretly breaks into their apartment. When he notices Ryan in the living room, he immediately attacks him. Ryan desperately calls out to Margot for help, but Arthur overpowers him and fatally stabs him. Hearing the commotion, Margot rushes out only for Arthur to inject her with a sedative. As her vision fades, she helplessly watches Ryan die before losing consciousness. Sometime later, Margot wakes up inside a cage in Arthur's basement and is horrified to see Samantha and Drew imprisoned nearby. Confirming that she she is captured by the same killer she has been searching for. To make matters worse, the video of her sister's death is playing on a loop, clearly being used to torment her. Meanwhile, Arthur is preparing his next video when he notices Margot's Reddit post has gained widespread attention. News outlets are even beginning to report on the story, but instead of worrying him, the attention only seems to amuse him. Arthur then starts a live stream and pours acid over Ryan's remains, claiming this is what happens to nosy roommates. However, the audience simply treats it as entertainment and jokes about it, believing it is all fake. Back in the basement, Margot spots her coat lying nearby. Struggling against her restraints, she manages to reach it and retrieve the hidden lipstick blade Ryan had given her. Using the tiny blade, she carefully cuts through her restraints and escapes from the cage. She then frees Samantha as well. With little time to spare, Margot promises Drew that she will come back for him before the two women quietly make their escape, where Samantha wants to escape immediately, but Margot insists they need proof of Arthur's crimes. She finds Arthur's computer and starts searching through it, eventually discovering a hard drive containing the raw footage of all his videos. While going through the files, Margot finally sees Arthur's real face. At the same time, Samantha smashes a glass door and escapes the house. However, she finds herself trapped in a fenced backyard. She climbs over the fence and tries to run, but Arthur shoots her, stopping her escape. Meanwhile, Margot grabs the hard drive and a cell phone before fleeing the house. She jumps over the same fence while Arthur fires at her from the garage. She narrowly avoids the shots and reaches the street, only to encounter Arthur again. He tries to shoot her but misses and eventually runs out of ammunition. Margot manages to get away and calls 911 while running down a main road. She desperately begs a passing family for help, but they are frightened by her blood-covered appearance and drive away. The emergency operator finally answers, but Margot is devastated when she realizes the hard drive she stole was hit by a bullet during the escape and is now destroyed. Back at the house, Arthur brings Samantha back inside and calmly calls the police himself, claiming he wants to report an incident. Later, Margot returns to Arthur's house with two police officers and tells them everything that happened. Before they can enter the property, the officers receive a report about a woman in a blue floral shirt trespassing on private property. When they realize the description matches Margot, they begin to doubt her story. The officers still approach the house and speak with Arthur. Acting calm and cooperative, Arthur pretends to be relieved to see them and claims that Margot is a delusional woman who has become obsessed with him. His convincing act infuriates Margot, and she desperately begs the officers to search the house. As the argument escalates, Arthur cruelly brings up the tragic death of Margot's sister. Hearing this, Margot loses her temper and lunges at him. To the officers, it only makes her appear unstable and assume Arthur is telling the truth. They restrain her and take her away. Later, Margot is taken to the hospital while Arthur realizes that his hard drive and phone are missing. Suspecting that Margot has them, he sends her a message demanding that she return the hard drive within an hour or the two remaining captives will be killed. At the hospital, doctors discover fentanyl in Margot's system. Believing she may have overdosed or has a drug problem, the doctor gives Margot Narcan, a medication that reverses the effects of fentanyl and helps prevent a fatal overdose. After some time, Margot leaves the hospital. Several staff members are watching Arthur's Faces of Death recreation videos online and treating them as entertainment. This deeply upsets Margot. Margot then takes a taxi back to Arthur's house. On her way, Margot takes Narcan to counter the effects of the fentanyl. When she arrives, Arthur immediately demands to know where the hard drive is. Margot refuses to give him the location, telling him that it is hidden somewhere safe and that she will only reveal it once she knows everyone else is safe. Arthur orders her to empty her pockets. The only thing he finds is the lipstick Ryan gave her, so he dismisses it as harmless and allows her to keep it before leading her inside the house. Once in the house, Arthur talks about his online fame, claiming that everyone loves his work, including social media platforms, news outlets, and even the authorities. Margot asks why he is so obsessed with recreating Faces of Death. Arthur coldly replies that he does it because the algorithm loves remakes and familiar content. He then takes Margot into a garage where she is horrified to discover that Samantha and Drew are dead. The sight leaves her devastated. He forces Margot to inject herself with fentanyl, and realizing she has no way out, she reluctantly obeys. Terrified, she begs Arthur to spare her life, but the drug soon takes effect and she loses consciousness. After this, Arthur lets his guard down and drops his weapon. As he tries to drag Margot's body, she suddenly regains consciousness and attacks him with a small blade. And Arthur panics as he realizes he is bleeding badly. Despite her resistance, Arthur eventually overpowers Margot and tries to suffocate her with a plastic bag. However, Margot manages to grab a long metal rod rod nearby and stabs him in the leg, weakening him. Using the same rod, she then stabs him repeatedly in the chest, fatally injuring him. As Arthur lies dying, she then tears open her shirt and shows that she had been wearing a hidden camera the entire time, meaning everything has been recorded as evidence. She immediately goes to Arthur's computer and begins uploading the footage on Kino. Meanwhile, Arthur, still alive but weakly laughs while watching the ending of Faces of Death on his phone. Margot starts the upload and throws his phone away. Exhausted and overwhelmed, she sits down and begins laughing in disbelief as she watches Arthur struggle to breathe. When the video goes live on the platform, Margot is disturbed to see that many viewers leaving jokes, insensitive comments, treating the real violence as entertainment rather than a serious tragedy, and the movie ends. And that wraps up Faces of Death. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell for more chilling movie stories. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.